Last night, I watched my study partner crying over organic chemistry while I closed my laptop after just 2 hours and headed out for dinner with friends. She'd been grinding for 9 straight hours, her coffee cup was shaking in her hands, and she was nowhere close to understanding protein synthesis. Meanwhile, I just crushed the same material in a fraction of the time, and I'm about to tell you exactly how I did it. I'm Sam, and I've completely destroyed the traditional studying game. While my classmates are pulling all-nighters and living off energy drinks like they're some kind of academic martyrs, I'm maintaining top grades with a study schedule that would make most people laugh. 2 hours max per day, that's it. Not 2 hours per subject, 2 hours total for everything. And before you think I'm some kind of genius, let me stop you right there, because I'm absolutely not. Here's the reality. Nobody wants to admit those students bragging about their 14-hour study marathons aren't heroes. They're walking advertisements for inefficiency. Every time someone tells me they studied until sunrise, I don't think dedication, I think desperation. They're basically announcing to the world that they have no idea how their own brain works, and it's honestly painful to watch. I used to be just like them, spending entire weekends buried in textbooks, highlighting everything until my pages looked like a neon explosion, reading the same chapters over and over until my eyes burned. I was working incredibly hard, but getting mediocre results, and I couldn't figure out why. Then I stumbled across something that changed my entire academic life forever, and I'm about to share every single detail with you. Your brain doesn't learn through repetition, it learns through struggle. Most students think learning happens when information flows easily from the textbook into their head, but that's completely backwards. Real learning happens when you force your brain to work, when you make it dig deep and retrieve information that's hiding in there somewhere. It's like the difference between watching someone else do push-ups and actually doing push-ups yourself. Only one of them makes you stronger. This concept is called active recall, and it's basically a cheat code for your memory. Instead of reading about the French Revolution for the 5th time, you close the book and try to explain the causes and effects out loud. Instead of reviewing your chemistry notes again, you create practice problems and test yourself until you want to scream. It feels harder in the moment, but it creates permanent learning instead of temporary. The science behind this is absolutely wild. Your brain has something called the forgetting curve, which means you lose new information at an insane rate, unless you actively fight against it. But when you force yourself to retrieve information, when you make your brain search for answers, you're literally rewiring your neural pathways to make that information stick forever. I recently dove deep into neuroscience research, and every single study confirms the same thing. Testing yourself is the most powerful learning technique that exists. So here's your new study system that's going to change everything. First, turn every piece of information into a question immediately. Don't just take notes, create quiz material. Don't just read, create problems to solve. Second, read every assignment and test you've ever gotten back, especially the ones where you messed up. And here's the critical part. Do this the exact same day you get your graded work back, not next week when you feel like it. Third, leverage technology like your life depends on it. Take your class notes, dump them into chat, and ask it to generate practice questions. It's like having a personal tutor who never gets tired and never judges you for asking the same question 10 times. Most students are completely sleeping on this advantage. Don't be one of them. But here's where everyone gets wrong. They think studying has to feel like punishment. They've trained themselves to associate learning with misery, boredom, and stress, so obviously they avoid it like the plague. I flipped this completely by turning everything into a game. I use flashcard apps, but instead of mindlessly clicking through them, I compete with myself. How fast can I nail this entire deck? Can I get a perfect score 3 rounds in a row? And this might sound weird, but I actually want to struggle a little bit when I'm studying. If everything feels easy and obvious, I know I'm not pushing hard enough. It's exactly like working out. If the weights feel light, you're not going to get stronger. If the material feels simple, you're not going to get smarter. Lean into the difficulty, make your brain sweat, Now let's talk about something that will absolutely destroy your progress if you get it wrong: your study environment. Your phone needs to vanish completely when you're trying to learn. I'm talking airplane mode at minimum, but honestly, just put it in another room entirely. Every notification, every buzz, every urge to check social media is pulling your brain away from the deep focus you need. I know people who bought time-locked boxes for their phones. Sounds extreme, but it works perfectly. When that phone is physically unreachable, they transform into studying machines. Personally, I just turn everything off and flip it face down, but I had to build up to that level of self-control over time. Here's something that might surprise you. I love having background music while I study. Not anything with lyrics that will distract me, but instrumental stuff like lo-fi beats, ambient sounds, or classical music. Some people say that silence is better, but honestly, complete quiet makes me restless and anxious. Find what works for your brain and stick with it. Results matter more than rules. The next game changer is figuring out your personal peak performance window. Everyone has a time of day when their brain operates at maximum capacity, when focus comes naturally, and complex concepts just click. For me, it's early morning around 7 to 9 a.m. My mind is crystal clear, distractions are minimal, and I can tackle the hardest material without breaking the sweat. Maybe you're a night person, and your genius hours happen after 9 p.m. That's totally fine. The key is identifying when you're naturally sharp and protecting those hours like they're made of gold. Don't waste your peak mental energy on easy, busy work. Save it for the challenging stuff that requires real brain power. But here's the bigger picture most students completely miss. This isn't just about grades. This is about freedom. When you can master any subject in 2 hours instead of 8, you suddenly have 6 extra hours every single day to build the life you actually want. Time for hobbies that make you come alive. Time for relationships that matter. Time to work on projects that excite you. That's what makes you interesting to colleges, employers, and everyone around you. Not your ability to memorize textbooks like some kind of academic robot, but your ability to learn efficiently while living fully. You become someone who's accomplished, but also fun to be around, successful but also balanced, smart but also genuine. Right now you're standing at a crossroads. You can keep doing what you've always done, spending endless hours studying ineffectively, watching other people get better results with less effort, feeling frustrated and burned out. Or you can adopt these techniques starting today and join the small group of students who make academic success look completely effortless. Here's your mission. Choose one strategy from everything I just shared and committed to it for exactly 1 week. Maybe it's active recall. Maybe it's finding your peak hours. Maybe it's finally ditching your phone during study time. Give it 7 days and watch your results explode. Once you see the difference, layer in another technique. Before long, you'll be that person everyone comes to for study advice. You're capable of way more than you think. You just needed someone to show you the path. Now you have the roadmap. Time to start walking.